Well, folks, welcome back to another episode of the Luke Pipala Show. We have like 4 more days until the election. 3 more days.
Well, I mean, technically 2. I mean, today we can consider
Yeah,
over.
that's true. That's true.
By the time you guys are seeing this, we will have. That'll be the day before the election.
So this is kind of huge, Ryan Scheibmantel. And we're not going to harp on the election, all of it. We have a couple of non-election stories, but this is really special.
It's kind of what we like. I don't want to say what we worked for, because obviously we were doing podcasts way before this was even a thing. Donald Trump being the Republican nominee for a third time.
But this election cycle is all we know. We haven't had a podcast outside of this election cycle in terms of 4 years.
For the second time of us. Well, what I'm saying is for the second time of us getting back together.
That's true.
Now we've just been advocating for Donald Trump, and
that's what this podcast turned into.
It really has. But we were sitting. Look at how far we've come just in these few weeks with the election and everything like that. We have a studio. We're not on a casting couch anymore.
That's true.
We're doing phenomenal.
We don't need a producer. Anyway,
I know we keep saying that. We keep digging at him. It would be nice though. It would be nice.
And not him. Anyway, so like I said, we have a couple non-election stories, and we're just gonna get to those right now, folks. Have you heard of Peanut the Squirrel?
I have heard of Peanut the Squirrel.
Peanut the Squirrel.
R.I.P. Peanut the Squirrel.
Rest in peace, Peanut the Squirrel. And another example of government overreach. Exhausted government overreach. So we're gonna put this up on the screen right here. Another one from the Post. Shout out to the Post.
Shout out to the Post.
Peanut the Squirrel, beloved pet and internet sensation, euthanized after being seized by the New York State. The internet is ablaze over this, by the way.
Yeah.
Peanut the Squirrel of internet fame has been euthanized after the pet was seized by the New York State earlier this week, according to the Department of Environmental Conservation. The 7-year-old gray rescue squirrel, commonly referred to as Peanut on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, was put to death. Holy crap! Along with Fred the raccoon, so that the animals could be tested for the presence of rabies, according to the statement from the agency obtained by WETM. Dude, this is a picture of Peanut the Squirrel.
He's a cute squirrel.
Why would you want to kill this squirrel?
I don't understand why they did kill the squirrel. I mean, ultimately, like, just release the squirrel. Like, it's a squirrel. Why do we have to put the squirrel down?
Exactly. Peanut's guardian, Mark Longo, took to Instagram to memorialize his beloved pet in a video. We'll watch that in a second. Here we go. R.I.P. my best friend. Thank you for the best 7 years of my life. Thank you for bringing so much joy to us and the world. I'm sorry I failed you, but thank you for everything. Longo wrote in the caption to the post announcing Peanut's death. Longo also asked fans for financial help for a legal battle for his nonprofit Peanut's Freedom Farm. The DEC claims that Peanut, who is notably docile and friendly over the course of his very public-facing life, bit one of the investigators on the hand while being confiscated from his Elmira home on Wednesday. In addition, a person involved with the investigation was bitten by the squirrel. To test for rabies, both animals were euthanized.
Probably because they bit. Maybe that's why they didn't release. But why did you have to confiscate them in the first place?
All right, so this is a little bit of a weird story, right? You would think.
Right.
Well, we have here before we get to the interview, right? This is Peanut's owner. This is a 57-second TikTok, and this is just him and his owner on TikTok, right? This went viral. The internet loved it.
Good Lord, someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They don't need that damn. There's a pipe down.
We just thought of that for a second.
I mean, this is a good looker, no question.
For sure.
He's a good looker.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, look at this, man.
Look at his bulge in that.
Look at this. It's all wholesome, right?
It is. It's wholesome. I mean, he's a good squirrel. I don't know that I would be one to advocate for having a squirrel in my house, but I mean, hey.
Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. You see the squirrel jumping onto him. Like, that's cool. It's wholesome.
Right. It is.
And this guy is absolutely yoked, too.
He's a beautiful man.
He's yoked. All right, we're not going to play that whole thing. But look at that. You saw the wholesome video, right? It was very wholesome. It was very innocent, okay? Well, obviously, they killed him. And we have that interview. I don't know if we're going to play the whole thing, but here we go. This is from TMZ. And so TMZ interviewed Peanut's owners.
We just learned that they have euthanized Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well. I am so sorry. This must be really difficult for you.
Damn.
Oh, are you shitting me?
Well, the Wi-Fi is not working, folks. But anyway, we're just gonna summarize what he said. He said, like, this isn't fair. This is unconstitutional. He accused the state of abusing its power and wasting taxpayer funds to seize and kill Peanut the squirrel. What do you think about this, dude?
Dude, I mean, like I said, I have a lot of questions about it. Number one being, why did they do it? But ultimately, why? What was the necessity?
That's what I'm
What was
saying.
the necessity behind taking the squirrel in the first place? I mean, obviously, like, if you're the New York State, like, you should know that you're going to get a fuck ton of backlash on this. Like, this dude had a good following on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Exactly.
Peanut was a good squirrel. Like, I don't understand why we took the squirrel, number one, and number two, I don't understand why we killed the squirrel, unless the bite during the confiscation is what led to his euthanasia. But ultimately, there shouldn't have been a confiscation of said squirrel that would have led to said bite.
What they were saying too, I was reading on the internet, and apparently whoever it was raided his home.
Okay.
Completely raided his home.
Okay.
He was not allowed to be in his home for 5 hours, and he had to go to the bathroom. Right, for an example, the man, he had to get a police escort just to get into his home and be able to use the bathroom.
And what was the purpose of raiding the home?
Well, I have no clue. I read something online where it was this lady from, I would like to say, Texas. It was one of the southern states. Maybe it wasn't Texas.
Okay.
She saw that TikTok.
Yeah.
She complained to, I believe, the HOA of New York.
Oh, my God.
And that's what led to all this. So from that complaint, I guess maybe it wasn't.
That lady
into
better hope her
code.
name never gets released, because...
Well, no, it is. I just forget the name, and I didn't want to harp on it here too much.
She's going to get death threats for
But-
sure.
And it's just
I'm
another,
not promoting violence.
No,
I'm not promoting.
It's just, you see me kind of stumbling.
Yeah.
But it's just another example of government overreach. And now we're going to take it back to politics here. People online are blaming it on the Democrats in New York for wasting taxpayer funds, just like they have with the migrant crisis.
I mean, it really is. I mean, when you look at New York City, you look at, it's in shambles. New York is not exactly how it used to be when it was one of the most traveled two cities. I do know
Rudy Giuliani.
People do, yeah, really.
And now he's a madman.
Yeah, people do still travel to New York, but I mean, when you look at the New York scene, a lot of it has to deal with the homeless, the migrant crisis. I mean, everything that we've seen for the past how many years, if not decades, that just keeps snowballing.
I wouldn't even say decades.
Decade. I'd say for the last decade.
Almost a decade.
I'd say the last decade.
But I remember, bro, we went to New York in 2017 was the last time. 2018, 2017.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Really?
In the summer. Beautiful.
Okay, so not even a
Absolutely
decade.
beautiful. No.
I've
no.
never been to New York City,
Oh,
so
dude.
I can't
Dude.
say firsthand, but I do know that, I mean, it's talked
It's the
about.
greatest city in the world. It's
Really?
just a shame that they've shat on it and completely ruined it like they
Man.
have. But it can definitely come back.
But at the end of the day, now, I mean, we're still talking about a New York City that right now is not in a current position of being a good city.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're throwing taxpayer dollars on euthanasia of a good squirrel, all because some dumb bitch living in the same HOA as these people.
No, she was out of state. That's
What
the crazy
the
part.
fuck?
That's the crazy part. She saw it on TikTok. She called New York. She was out of state. That's what I'm saying. She might have been Texas or whatever.
Oh, I didn't even follow your whole story.
Yeah,
Holy
she was
shit.
out of state and she complained to whatever HOA it was. Maybe I'm not exactly factual here.
Bro, what?
But allegedly, this lady was out of state, called, and it led to the death of Peanut the squirrel. And I think they had the pet raccoon too.
The Democrats need to be stopped.
Bro,
Democrats need to be stopped.
When you could have spent that money on policing, and you could have spent that
Right.
money on, I don't even know what you would spend it on.
a proper
Maybe
Beyonce performance for Kamala Harris.
Oh my gosh, that's another thing. But maybe dealing with the migrant crisis a
Yeah,
little bit more,
anything.
stopping crime, literally anything. But massive misuse
Loss.
of
And
funds.
and we apologize to the owner of Peanut.
R.I.P. Peanut the squirrel.
Absolutely, and the raccoon. Don't forget
Tragic,
the
yeah, and the raccoon too. But let's kind of let's circle off and talk about something a little bit different here. So obviously the guy was a TikTok star, but now we're talking about movie stars. Specifically, we're talking about the Avengers cast endorsing Kamala Harris.
Yes.
And I would like to say they did it rather cringily.
Well,
Is that a word?
Yeah, we all knew Mark Ruffalo was gay, anyways, because he started this whole thing. Really, I think he was one of the first ones that was coming out and speaking against Donald Trump, anyways.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, and even like this next go around, I want to say Mark Ruffalo, like he had a clip that was going around of him, shitting on Donald Trump, whatever. I mean, ultimately, whenever Kamala Harris is getting these like endorsements, at least to people on the right, you're not like people who know they are voting for Donald Trump. Okay, you're not switching. You're not going to switch my political choice because you're a movie star, like endorsing.
Well, I don't
said
know.
Person.
We haven't watched this video yet, so this is the cast of the Avengers.
Okay, so let's clear our minds. let's clear our minds.
Think from a non-biased perspective, because now we are about just throw that away. This American flag, throw it in the trash.
Right.
Now we are about to watch the cast of the Avengers make a video for Kamala Harris and inevitably endorse her. I don't know. Like I said, we're watching with a clear mind, so here we go.
Hi, you guys. Hi,
She looks like
Avengers.
shit.
Thank
Hey,
you for
Scarlett.
jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean assembling. I said assembling.
Don, that's pretty good.
No, they thought it was funny.
Scarlett, it is our pleasure to come together and to get the vote out this election. Come on.
Shit. Okay. Well, damn.
We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get it. Hopefully. I'm sorry, everybody.
We'll get it.
I thought I had it all preloaded. My apologies, fellas. But yeah, okay. We'll just we'll ramble for a little bit and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so we'll ramble for a little bit while we wait for it to load. But yeah, dude, it's very true.
Yeah, how can we be of service?
How about we start with what our voting plans are going to be, who we're going to bring to the polls with
All right, hold
us.
on.
That's
We're gonna do this again so we don't mess up.
Why do they all look like shit?
That's another thing. So real quick, okay, once again, sorry for all the listeners and viewers out there. This is the cast of the Avengers endorsing Kamala Harris, and they all look like shit.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey,
Thank you for
Scarlett.
jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean assembling. I said
They really do
assembling.
look like
Don,
shit.
that's
though.
pretty
Dude,
good.
every single
No, they
one
thought it
of
was
them.
funny.
Scarlett, it is our pleasure to come together
Actually,
and
Chris
to
Evans
get the
looks
vote out
really
this
good.
election.
Well,
Come on.
that's because it's
Yeah,
Chris
how
Evans.
can we be of service?
how about we start with what our voting plans are going to be, who we're
Like,
going to
Mark
bring to the
Ruffalo always
polls
looks
with
homeless.
us, that
I
sort
know.
of thing. Just to,
I think Kamala
Robert Downey
Harris
doesn't
needs
look
a
bad either.
catchphrase.
Ooh, yes, definitely a catchphrase.
How about this?
Oh, he's so hot.
Off the top of
Oh
my
my
head,
gosh,
I
Chris
can do
Evans
this
is
all
so
day.
He
hot.
really is.
Shut
Oh.
up. I hate it. Okay.
Oh
mean, it's
my
original.
gosh. Let's just
I mean-
pause that for a second. Okay, so Chris Evans is probably
He's hot.
Chris Evans, and I'm a straight white male, right? And I'm voting for Trump, and I
No,
can
you're
still
not.
admit
You're not. You're
you're
not.
right. You're right.
We haven't
You're
finished
right.
the video
You're
yet.
right.
You're
You're
not
right.
voting for
You're right.
Trump yet.
I'm sorry, but anyway, most of these guys, most of these actors, we're almost done with the clip. Most of these actors and actresses look like shit.
Right.
And it's just a reminder that their lives, they just play pretend for their jobs, and you can tell kind of by their political views.
but
What about something punchier like, oh, boom?
You looking for this?
Iron Man 2, everybody loved it.
Chris Evans is so hot.
I know, he is such a hunk, dude.
He's so hot.
He is
But
such a hunk.
ultimately, I mean, we're
Don't you-
45 seconds into this endorsement video, and they haven't even got my attention. Like, if I was watching this on a TikTok, I would have been scrolled past it because
what
nobody
they're-
cares.
But what they're trying to do is resonate with the fans, right? They're saying catchphrases from like a couple different,
right,
couple
from their
different
movies.
kind of trying to get people on board. I just want to comment on it again. Chris Evans, when you got that he's got the flow and he's
Yeah,
got the
he
beard
does,
to match.
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
he doesn't
dude.
even look like he belongs there. I mean, he does look like a Kamala
No,
supporter
he's
in a way.
he's been a lefty
But-
for a long time.
No,
though.
but I'm saying, like, just the way that, like, in this video,
Oh
he
my
doesn't look like he
gosh.
belongs there.
Oh
Everybody
my
else is
gosh.
gray and homeless. Nobody's got makeup on.
Robert Downey Jr. doesn't look bad.
Robert Downey Jr. looks good, but I guarantee you, if he took that suit jacket off, he'd look like a homeless man.
Yeah,
And it's the Tony Stark glasses. But let's hear what Chris Evans.
Chris
has
Evans
to
looks
say.
so hot. Well, it's loading, folks. Continuing to go on though, just like look at him, man. I mean, it's gonna it's gonna load. Like I'm sorry, he's probably the only one that I would like kind of listen to a little. And it's true. We're commenting on his appearance, but he is the only one that I would like kind of listen to.
Is it because he's a straight white man?
Maybe. I'm not too sure. But anyway, okay, we don't need to watch the full clip. I'll summarize what they said real quick. They were talking about who's down with democracy, right? Everybody vote for Kamala Harris. Are you down with democracy? And then Mark Ruffalo made the joke, down with democracy doesn't sound too good of a thing, whatever. But that's basically what they were saying. And so to kind of comment once again, when you realize that all these actors and actresses are endorsing Kamala Harris, like I said, I like the majority of them. Mark Ruffalo's kind of annoying. I mean, you're playing the Hulk and you look like that, but whatever.
He's playing the Hulk, but the Hulk is all CGI at this point.
Well, the Hulk hasn't been the Hulk since 2019.
No.
Anyway, but continuing on here, when you realize that all these people are paid to play pretend,
right?
And when you look at, for example,
paid millions, like that's time and time again. Why do I give a fuck what movie stars, who they vote for?
Right, but I want you to listen to this.
Okay,
this is
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I have somewhere I think I'm getting, but I might not be getting there. Okay, when you realize these people are paid to play pretend, right? And you talk about the rise of social media in the last 15 years or so, 20 years or so.
Right.
Back in the day, back in like the 80s, 90s, even we go back 70s, 60s,
okay.
50s, people admired actors and actresses, right? Why? Because they didn't know who they actually were.
Right.
You didn't have social media. They didn't have an outlet to tell us who they really are. They only knew them from the characters that they portrayed, which were characters that were written to resonate with the audience, right? And so now when we get to know these actors and actresses, most of them are the theater kids from high school, looking for attention and not really feeling what regular people feel. So, of course, they're going to have this. I don't really fault them that much. I mean, Mark Ruffalo is quite annoying.
I mean, ultimately, I think to sum up your story is just celebrities that are making millions of dollars to shoot movies who don't work an actual 9 to 5. And I know acting and certain things must be hard, but like, ultimately, they are not struggling in life. Like, genuinely, most of these celebrities, the only thing they struggle with is addiction. Like, truly. So,
by the way, did you see Chris Hemsworth in there? No,
thank God.
Thor wasn't in there.
Because he's
smart. What about Ant-Man? What about Paul Rudd? No.
Nope.
He probably supports Kamala too, but he's at least not going to virtue signal to us about it.
No.
What about Hawkeye? What about Jeremy Renner?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Jeremy Renner.
What about Wasp? The actress, this is cool, and then we'll get off. The lady who plays Wasp was at a March for Freedom, right?
Okay.
So it was the coolest thing on her Instagram too. This was in 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
She was protesting
for
freedom of choice. It was people or women that were for pro-choice in terms of abortion.
Okay.
And then also people that didn't want to be having the vaccine mandate.
Okay.
They united together. It was the coolest thing, and
That's
nobody talked
cool.
about it. She seems like a cool person, and a lot more too, I'm sure. But to continue off, it's just annoying at this point.
I mean, again, to sum up your story is if you're a movie star that makes millions and millions and millions of dollars, you're not struggling. This economy doesn't trouble you because all you're doing is putting gas into your Lamborghini.
Not even. Somebody puts gas in their Lamborghini for them.
Right. So, I mean, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I'm sick of it. And, I mean, I don't even know if it has nothing to do with... I mean, I get excited when certain celebrities endorse Trump, but ultimately that's just speaking out against the machine. That's why I get excited about it, is knowing that they're trying to open people's eyes to exactly what we're opening people's eyes to, you know?
Yeah.
So it's funny to see everybody fall in line through Hollywood and mainstream media to just follow and suck the clit of Kamala Harris.
Oh boy, wow, that was interesting.
And like, just, you know what I mean? Like, they eat Tim Walz's ass more than his wife Gwen.
And I'm sure he has had that same thing happen to him a lot.
Exactly. Gwen probably munches that shit up.
I guarantee you she does. Actually, I bet she puts the strap on.
Exactly.
And just goes to town there. Anyway, to segue, right? So we're talking about celebrities. What about the most famous celebrity, Ryan Scheidman? Who remembers our current president?
Who?
You may have been overwhelmed by this election cycle. You might think, hold on, Trump is the president because Kamala says we're not going to go back, but she's actually the vice president.
But she doesn't want to go back.
No.
8 years? But she
No.
wants to stay where we're at for the past 4 years?
It feels like Donald Trump is the incumbent, no?
That's what she'd like everybody to forget. She would like everybody to forget that she co-hosted a presidential campaign and presidential, what am I looking for? Why am I blanking?
Ticket, maybe?
Yes. With the current president, Joe Biden.
I don't know, but the media will tell you that Trump has been in office all this time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they make it sound like.
Anyway, well, there's this
We're
guy,
turning the page.
Our current president. Yeah, we're turning the page on this administration, which is a Democratic administration, which Kamala is the second in command. But anyway, we're turning the page. So this is our current president, if you remember him, Joseph R. Biden, was talking about Trump supporters, and it was quite fascinating, quite interesting. We're just gonna play it for you, and I hope it plays, but we're just gonna play it for you, and we'll see how it goes. Here we go.
But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass. But I'm serious.
We'll play it one more time.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
One more time.
But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Oh.
First
don't
off,
tempt me with a good time,
First
Joseph.
off, so Joe Biden's talking about Republicans, specifically Trump supporters.
Yeah.
These are the kind of guys you want to smack in the ass.
This is just so weird because I wonder if he negs Jill like this because, I mean, at first he's calling us garbage, but now he wants to smack us in the ass? Like, that's pretty kinky, Joe.
I think it's kind of fun, actually.
I like it.
He's into a little bit of foreplay. We're not going to talk about, or we're not going to play what happened on Halloween, but, Joe Biden was putting the feet of the children in his mouth. His
eating
wife,
all
Jill,
the kids.
Right. Jill came out, wearing the panda costume. People were throwing around different conspiracies when it comes to that, but,
Right.
They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Joe Biden is apparently eating human babies.
Yeah.
So we might have another problem in the White House, potentially.
Which I think the biggest problem is that Joe Biden does not look like he's consumed the adrenochrome.
No.
So
no.
I don't know why he's eating babies.
I'm not sure either, but it is quite interesting.
It's RSV season, you fucks.
Yeah.
As a father,
Oh boy.
take my kid's feet out of your mouth, you
Yeah.
creep.
Yeah.
You creepy old man. Like, get out of here.
Honestly, and it was weird.
Imagine that
Weird.
baby kicks out the two front teeth of the president of the United States.
Well, those aren't his regular teeth.
No, but imagine that they fucking kicked out his dentures.
I know. Listen, he's weird. It's weird because he's so old. But every now and then, especially more recently, it feels like he's been getting better. Like the pressure of the office is off of him now. You know what I mean?
It's been off of him for a while, and I mean they talked about it on every right wing podcast that I've listened to this week of how Joe Biden seemed. I mean, not even that. It was actually in the JD Vance Joe Rogan episode that it seems like JD Vance. It seems like Joe Biden is more for Donald Trump. He's pissed at Kamala Harris. That's why we saw him put on the MAGA hat. That's why.
So let's think about this real quick, right?
Go ahead.
Let's talk about all the stuff that Biden has done
Yeah.
to upstage Kamala and
Yeah.
kind of support Trump. All right. So like you said, right? Biden put on the MAGA hat and he took it with him, which is something that we documented. He put on somebody's MAGA hat and he took it with him. There's one. Number two is the garbage comment.
That's a big one. That's a big one, and it comes right on the heels of Tony Hinchcliffe's Puerto Rican joke.
When that could have arguably destroyed the whole campaign for Trump.
I mean, it could have, and I don't know.
It wasn't likely, but
it wasn't likely, but ultimately, like, all you had to do was ride that out for the next X amount of days, and
Right.
And here comes Joe Biden going, "Oh, I'll see you and I'll raise you one,"
Exactly. And then so there's another one where Kamala Harris, JD talked about this too.
Right.
Kamala Harris has that press conference, right?
Yeah.
Or not even. It was Karine Jean-Pierre. She's in the whatever room it's called, not the Situation Room. That's where they make all the big
Just
decisions.
the
press
press
secretary room, whatever. She's in the press room, and Biden comes out, right? And he had never come out in the press room before. Just a reminder, blah blah blah. I'm here. Didn't he say something about Kamala being behind all his decisions too?
I forget exactly what he said, so I don't want to
But
misconstrue it.
it
But
was a dig
it was
at
something.
Kamala.
It was something along those lines. I mean, we can count him. He's had a bunch, and I do want to bring it back to the garbage comment because. Have you heard everything that's been going on with that garbage comment and how they're trying to twist it and say that they're saying that it was Tony Hinchcliffe's rhetoric that was garbage?
They
and that's
changed the White House transcript.
Right.
The transcript was he's calling MAGA supporters, Trump supporters garbage.
Yes.
But then they changed the way that he said it, the way it was, like the verbiage of it.
Right.
And they changed it.
And I know it's not on the slate, but I just want to throw it out there because I saw it last night from like a family friend who shared it on Facebook about Politico's article that Donald Trump wants to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. Because I know it's not on the slate, but
talk about it and we can find it.
Ultimately, how fucking stupid is that? How do you as an American citizen look and see what's happening and see how Joe Biden's comment was changed? It was literally completely changed to make it look like he was not talking about Donald Trump supporters being garbage. But we are completely taking Donald Trump's comment out of context, number one, and completely not what he said. Donald Trump was comparing, rightfully so, talking about Liz Cheney, whose father was a warmonger.
Probably the worst vice president we've ever had in terms of just the sheer awfulness.
Right. So it's very funny that we're sitting in a situation where we're watching the media dictate what we see. Someone as big as Politico, there's a lot of people that read Politico and keep up with that. And for them to come out and say that, Donald Trump said that he wants to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. Donald Trump said no such thing. He was talking about war and how would Liz Cheney like it if she had, 8 barrels pointed at her, or
8 or
people
9,
shooting at her, or something like that. And I get Trump could have worded it better, but he was trying to get that shock factor of, you don't really think about it that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And we're waiting for this video to load from Bill Maher. We'll see if it loads or not. But nevertheless, dude, it's just so crazy because Trump was making the argument of a hippie in the 60s.
Yes.
Saying how Liz Cheney would sit in Washington and want to send all of these thousands of troops to war while she sat in the comfort of her Washington building and did nothing. And he was saying, he keeps saying, right, his whole one of the presidential messages is, I don't want people to die. You talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, you talk about the Israel-Palestine war. He's not taking a particular side. He simply
wants the
saying,
deaths to end.
I don't want people to die. And that's a huge thing. And so the Cheneys in particular, Bush, right, the Republican Party has also distanced themselves from the Republicans that were in power in the past, which is crazy.
Yeah, they've distanced themselves.
They're not afraid.
I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're distancing themselves from the war aspect of it, and they do not want war.
I love this pivot,
and this is exactly why I love what Trump is saying about the situation of war. Yeah. Where, he's asked when he needs to be threatening, saying that he's going to bomb and threaten with tariffs and different things like that. But ultimately, Trump doesn't want war. Nobody wants war. Because at this rate,
that's not true. People do want war.
Okay. But at this rate, I don't understand how a normal war, how does a normal war get fought? Since there hasn't been a war, we've had wars, but nuclear missiles are a huge thing that could destroy human civilization.
I agree.
And we're poking buttons with Russia and with Ukraine, and now they're wrapping in. We're pissing China off. North Korea's joining forces with
Russia.
Yeah. We're fucking with some big dogs here, and Kamala Harris is not the one to sit. Think about that, dude. It racks my brain, and I can't even create sentences.
Makes me mad.
We completely 180'd onto war, but truthfully, if you're a United States citizen voting for Kamala Harris, think about her sitting with powerful leaders from different countries, ones that don't respect women in the first place.
No.
And as vice president, when asked about, what was it? It was,
Afghanistan
where she said,
pullout?
No, where she said, don't. That's it, one word.
The border. Do not come.
No,
right?
No. It was, was it Israel?
Iran?
Iran. Someone, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but she looked and said, don't.
Just don't.
That was her answer. And that's not, I don't know. It's just funny coming from, you see Vladimir Putin. You're sitting across from Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, you're gonna tell them don't. People who don't respect anybody of a different color in the first place, and people who don't respect women. Like, we need a powerful woman in office. If it's a woman of color, it needs to be a powerful woman of color.
Tulsi.
I do not give a fuck about your color, your gender. I care about how powerful you are
Tulsi.
and what you bring to the table.
I hear you, but okay, let's take it back now, right?
I apologize.
No.
Rant there.
I liked that. I really liked it. It was good. But right, so we talked about Trump making those comments about Liz Cheney, okay, and we talked about all that stuff, right? Well, this is on Bill Maher, so obviously the media took what Trump said about Liz Cheney out of context, of course, but this is Bill Maher, an anti-Trumper, a liberal, a blue no matter who type of guy who said he would vote, if it wasn't Joe Biden, he would vote for Joe Biden's dead head in a jar over Trump. This is him saying, listen, you guys took all that stuff about Trump, what he said about Liz Cheney, out of context. So here we go. For a minute and a half, he's on his show talking about it.
I woke up today to the headline that Trump had called for a firing squad for Liz Cheney. And this is what I really don't like about the media. No, he didn't. He did not. You don't have to move me to not like Donald Trump.
He says
more
so
than
many
I
shitty
already,
things. Why do you have
and
to
by
do
the way,
that?
if Pete don't realize it, well, here's what he said. He's criticizing him for being a war hawk. I mean, she is Dick Cheney's daughter. He said, she's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay. Let's see how she feels about it. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, we'll send tens of thousands of troops right into the mouth of the enemy. Now, of course, he expresses himself horribly. He has to add she's a stupid person because he's a moron.
Trump knows what it's really like from Vietnam.
I mean, if we're being fair.
Well, that's almost there.
Just to be clear, this is exactly what hippies always said. This is exactly what peaceniks always said. This is Fortunate Son, the song. It's like, you know what? It's very easy to sit in your building and send young men to die. But apropos of Ukraine, because, I don't know, that war doesn't look like it's going in the right direction. But just so...
You see what I mean? So...
Number one, Fortunate Son, banger, Bill Maher. Thanks for putting that out there. But, like you said...
It just...
It's very funny to me that to be fair, Liz Cheney does rub me as a stupid person. I've never met her, but I mean, so you can't criticize for Trump just calling a spade a spade.
But it's just funny because if you look, whenever Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, right? Anything prior to that, every single article written about Dick Cheney, he's Darth Vader, he's a warmonger, he's a fascist. Is he worse than Trump? You see the Vice movie too, the movie Vice, where they portray Dick Cheney as the mastermind behind all of the war in the Middle East and actually portray him as the whole mastermind of the Bush administration.
Yeah.
W or whatever the second one was, George H.W., whatever, the son. And they portrayed Bush as a stupid person. And maybe that was true, maybe it wasn't, but in reality, like, Dick Cheney was not a good person. And you see all these people on the left too, all these people on the left that are supposed to be anti-war saying, "Oh, look, we got Liz and Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Let's go."
Trump
must be really bad.
Right. That speaks to the Democrats.
And I would just like to, and
How?
I would just like to say something else too. We've harped on this, and we will again and again and again. But Shide, all these feminist women who are going to be voting for Kamala Harris because they think that Trump is going to take away their abortion rights, which is not true. However, all these women that are voting for Kamala Harris, when we go to war, because mind you, Biden hasn't talked to Putin in over 2 years. 2 years. So when we're in Ukraine, when we go to war, because it's going to be the men. We were the ones that had to sign off on something that's kind of unconstitutional, a draft. Women will not be drafted. You won't. When there's a fire, they said get rid of the women and the children and get them safe because it's the men's responsibility to, I don't know, fix it. But the point I'm trying to make here is we are going to be the ones that are sacrificed, the young, able-bodied men. And look, we are all voting for Trump. We are all voting for Trump. If you are gay and you're voting for Trump, they're going to take you too. But maybe you're somebody like Tim Waltz, right? You can get away with pretending to be a woman, and maybe they won't take you. Maybe they won't take you. I don't know. You see Harry Sisson. Harry Sisson's been tucking his dick for the past however many years, saying he's not a paid influencer for the Biden administration. Harry Sisson's just going to tuck his dick and say, oh, look, I'm a girl now. Whatever. And he won't go. He won't go. But the point is, you are not going to be fighting for the women that are thinking about voting for Kamala. If you voted for Kamala, whatever, I'm not talking to you. If you're a woman and you're thinking about voting for Kamala, please, please, please just realize something, that we are on the brink of World War III. And this one might not end well because everybody has nukes. And so if you are thinking about voting for Kamala, I would strongly suggest you take another thought. Have a think. Because we are going to be the ones that are going to be sacrificed, drafted, and fighting in war that is not going to benefit America. All these people just want to get rich in the rebuilding of Ukraine because there are contracts there. And these contracts make all these people in Washington lots and lots of money. So please, Kamala Harris, you talk about all these leaders, all these foreign leaders who are very sexist.
Yeah.
If you women do not know, they're very sexist. We are
racist.
We are the most privileged country in the entire world. I know you love to complain about America, but you have free speech, so you can. You talk about the Middle East. You want to talk about Iran. You know what they do in Iran? They don't let the women do anything. You can't even talk. They actually banned talking in Iran recently because the women sounded too seductive. All you're allowed to see is the eyes. And they have very, very pretty eyes because it's all you can see. They do not have any rights. If you're gay in Iran, they throw you off the building. End of story. We're not endorsing that, but what we're saying is please, please, please just think and be very clear, because I do not want to fight for a government that I don't necessarily support their actions going into Ukraine. These people do not care about us. They do not care about you. They just pander to you every 4 years because they want your vote. So please take a second look. Take a second look. I want peace. He wants peace.
Yes.
Nobody wants to fight in a war. All these people are just power hungry and money hungry. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. Please, please, please take a second look. Because of stuff like that, Trump is right. People like Liz Cheney in Washington, they don't care about sending troops to war. This is a hippie message. I don't care. It is what it is. Please take a second look, because we could be in Ukraine by February.
It's the ideals of the lifelong. Check the tweet that I just sent you, but it's the ideals of the lifelong politicians that I struggle with. Like the lifelong politicians. We talk about Donald Trump. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. And that's the upper hand that I think where American politics is going. Because ultimately, when we have when we have a situation where we're talking with these foreign leaders, are we going to send a lifelong politician, somebody who's prosecuted transnational criminals? Like, I think that if we put Kamala Harris in front of Xi Jinping, like, just, it's comical. Think about it. Think how fucking funny Putin.
Xi Jinping, Putin, Kim Jong-un.
Right.
Okay, you want to talk about the Ayatollahs in Iran.
Right.
In Iran? You think they're going to respect, you think
Kamala
they're going to take the phone call?
Kamala Harris is going to come out with her fucking, with no coverings on. You could see her hands. They're going to freak the fuck out.
It's just, it's not even that she's a woman too, because I generally think if it was Tulsi, it would be so different.
Right. No, and I agree.
Tulsi's a veteran. Tulsi has been overseas multiple times. She's,
right.
She was a medic in the army. That's how she got that gray streak. Tulsi is a fighter. Tulsi is strong. I put all my faith in Tulsi Gabbard if she was the president. So it's not an anti-woman thing.
As do I.
And I think Hillary too. For what? Listen, hear me out. For what it's worth, Hillary was not weak. Hillary was strong. Hillary would finger herself to the thought of going to war. She would flick her bean to the thought of troops getting blown up in the Middle East. She would just sit there, and Bill would just, what are you? Bill would be like,
Bill would watch her from the corner office in the basement. He'd go, Hillary, are you coming to bed soon, honey? Are you coming to bed soon? And she'd say, Bill, shut the fuck up. We haven't shared a bed in 15 years.
As she's deleting 30,000 emails, just salivating, thinking about power, flicking her bean to I'm going to be the president of the United States. I'm going to have all the new, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Come on. Anyway, you want to talk about, I almost said a word that I can't say on here. You want to talk about men that have been tucking their dicks for 4 years. Harry Sisson, everybody. Give a little round of applause for my favorite gay person who's secretly gay, appears to be. Anyway,
says he's not gay, but let's look at the wrist and let's look at the bracelets. And I mean, ultimately, right off rip, we're looking at
a pretty gay man on the surface. surface here. So Harry Sisson is pretending to be a man, and he's allegedly a paid actor for the Biden administration.
It's proven, but
yeah, I mean,
he's a plant.
He is a plant. So he popped out of nowhere 4 years ago at the start of the Biden administration, and he's talking about something. I think Republicans want a criminal in office. So here's
you haven't seen this yet.
Here's Harry Sisson.
So he's mocking the. Have you seen the Republican guy that sits? I forget his fucking name.
Yes, I have.
Yes,
I have.
so he's mocking him.
So here's Harry Sisson eating some fries with ranch.
So the Republicans don't want criminals in the country. In the Oval Office. They want one in the Oval Office. Got it.
Harry.
Hold on. Look at his wrist. Look at his wrist. Look at his wrist.
Right.
Look at him. Look, and he keeps it like there the whole time.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at this wrist. Can we look at the wrist?
He's limp wristed.
The whole time.
Look at him take a bite of a fry.
Look at this bracelet.
Yeah, that's
we obviously
two
don't,
bracelets.
We obviously, yeah, I know. We obviously don't like him. I will say though, the choice of fries and ranch. I mean, there's nothing of substance here. You don't see like a.
He's having a girl dinner.
Well, hold on. Actually, I won't shit on the fries. In the ranch.
Those fries look banger.
Listen,
listen. Let's talk
They're
about
seasoned.
that.
When I was in high school, I will say this. When I was in high school, in our lunch, right, you had a couple things. Fries, pizza, they had salads, whatever. But the black kids would always have fries and ranch, and that's it. And they would dip the fries in the ranch. Now, me not understanding that some of the black kids having the fries and the ranch was a result of poverty, I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so, and it yes, we laugh, but it's tragic.
I thought, fries and ranch are fire. Number one.
Well, I didn't realize, and I'm from the suburbs, man. So I was very what's the word here? Ignorant to what was really happening.
Yeah.
Broad scale.
Yeah.
But I would say, dude, that looks delicious. Let me get one. Anyway,
how would that go over?
Well, not good, but they did the same thing and more. Anyway, so I would get that meal, fries and ranch, but I would buy like 3 things of fries. So they would come, and it would be a big thing. But ever since then, wow, let me turn this back so it doesn't sound like I'm shitting on anybody. To pay homage to my my African American friends in high school. Ever since then, I've been fries and ranch. It is a delicious combination.
It is.
Harry Sisson is not a stranger to putting things in his mouth.
Well,
though.
I was thinking Harry Sisson usually puts the fries in the other hole, so that's why I was confused. I was confused why he was eating them. I don't know.
He's 22. He's a Democrat. You look at his bio, 22 Democrat. His email. His email is inquiries at harryjsisson.net. Not a .com guy, but .net.
Yeah, that's just it shows you as a government plan.
Yeah, that's
Harry J. Sissy.
I'm not a big fan of Harry Sisson.
Oh god.
But speaking of something else that you're not gonna like, to transition from Harry Sisson, which is what he will be doing in a couple of years, Harrison Ford. When I think of Harrison Ford, I'm not gonna lie, I think of America.
I forgot Harrison Ford was still alive.
I don't think to not shit on him fully. I don't think that anything is American as Harrison Ford. When you think about America,
I agree.
Harrison Ford, you think about him throughout the past 50, however long he's been an actor. All these timeless movies, right? All the Star Wars movies, Indiana Jones,
yes,
Blade Runner.
Yes.
You have the Jack Ryan? Tom Clancy's the Jack Ryan movies. He's in a bunch of other really good movies. I like him in the Yellowstone movie or a prequel. How is it a movie
prequel.
or a prequel? Okay, anyway,
prequel,
very good.
Yeah. I mean, I will say too is like I don't want to say that we're flaming right. I mean, I think we're both libertarian in certain aspects.
More libertarian than anything.
Right.
I'm not a Republican.
Right. But I mean, I think I'm a registered Republican. But
technically I am. Anyway.
Right. I am not going to sit here and tell you just because Harrison Ford endorsed Kamala Harris. Shocker, it's out now.
I mean, we all would know though.
Yeah.
All these people in Hollywood are on the left.
But I'm not one of those guys that's going to be like, I'm never watching a Harrison Ford movie again.
Dude, he has the best. Blade Runner might be my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
I love Harrison Ford and I love Blade Runner. But the reason I wanted to talk about this and I wanted to capture this is because it sounds kind of like he's out of touch. And we'll talk about it after. We might not watch the whole thing, but this is Harrison Ford endorsing Kamala. Here we go.
Look, I've been voting for 64 years. Never really wanted to talk about it very much. But when dozens of former members of the Trump administration are sounding alarms, saying, for God's sake, don't do this again. You have to pay attention. They're telling us something important. These aren't soft people. They're governors, generals, standing up against the leader of the party they spent their lives advocating for. For many of them, this will be the first time they've ever voted for someone who doesn't have an R next to their name, because they know this really matters. The truth is this: Kamala Harris will protect your right to disagree with her about policies or ideas. And then, as we have done for centuries, we'll debate them, we'll work on them together, and we'll move forward. The other guy, he demands unquestioning loyalty, says he wants revenge. I'm Harrison Ford. I've got one vote, same as anyone else, and I'm going to use it to move forward. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot to unpack there.
There is.
Here's the thing. I will first point out, not to shit on Harrison Ford, but the gall of celebrities in Hollywood. Okay, look at the filter, right? It's black and white. It's real serious. They make themselves, for whatever the reason, they want to seem like they're important.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is actually very important. He's very relevant. But the idea that they want to make everything so serious and they want to turn down the tone and the black and white and
get the rasp in their voice.
And this is really important. I've got one vote, the same as anybody else.
And I'm voting it for a new way forward.
Okay, to be fair, he says Kamala Harris will protect your right to disagree with her. False. She actually wanted to suppress everything on Twitter. Let's talk about misinformation, removing misinformation on Twitter. Right. So that's one thing. You talk about misinformation for the Democrats, and they want to get rid of all of it, which misinformation is an interesting thing, but it's still free speech, I believe. Listen, the only thing that I think that we should prevent in terms of maybe free speech is inciting violence.
Yeah, but the thing issue is you can't, because you could.
What do you call inciting violence?
What do you call inciting violence? What do you call racism? What do you call hate speech? Like that's the issue. I mean, I didn't mean to say racism, but that ties in with hate speech. When I was gonna bring it up to you, and I should have put it on the slate, but it was a what was it? It was a pro-choice march, and it was two women. Signing a fake petition to ban hate speech. And so they were saying, whatever, they put their names on it, and the guy broke it down, and he was like, well, hate speech is protected under the Constitution.
Yeah, technically it is.
So you would like to alter an amendment. Yeah. And they were kind of taken aback by it, whatever.
Course.
And then they just kind of panicked because he kept pressing them saying, well, you want to take away free speech. And they panicked and they crossed their name out and all that stuff. And the issue with fake media, hate speech, all these things, the Constitution was wrote an ass throw. I don't know why I said Astro. It was written so long ago. So how many decades? Why do I keep saying decades? I'm fucking murdering this right now.
But
Jesus.
listen.
But what I'm trying to say is, because I'll fix it, don't worry. What I'm trying to say is you take what's happening right now with social media and with all these things. Obviously, when the Constitution was written, none of this shit was available.
Yeah.
So you weren't able to put out copious amounts of hate speech. If you were on X and you see it, and it's sometimes funny when you just they throw out these slurs and words that bash these communities, and they can because it's protected under the Constitution technically.
Yeah.
So,
and to bring it back to Harrison Ford, like, first of all,
right.
You're talking about decades ago. He was around.
Oh, well, right. Yeah.
But no, just to bring it back to Harrison Ford real quick. I mean, think about it. Does he know all this, though? Everything that you're saying? He probably is not aware of this.
I mean, honestly, probably not.
I still respect Harrison Ford. I still think he's as American as American as apple pie, dude.
And
Harrison
I agree.
Ford's been a constant.
Ultimately, like, none of these endorsements make me lose. Well, I shouldn't exactly say that, but like certain ones don't make me lose respect for the person, because genuinely, at the end of the day, like,
how informed are they?
And are they just doing this? Are they doing this to actually benefit themselves? Maybe they do have. I mean, everybody does have the right to the opinion, whether they're a movie star or not. But ultimately, like, it's the people that I lose respect for that are like Usher. I lost respect for Usher for saying that he wasn't going to go endorse a political candidate.
But I don't lose respect for Harrison Ford.
That's
dude.
what I'm saying.
He's talking about the generals, right? And okay, so the generals are all warmongers. He's referring to all the generals that were in Trump's cabinet or whatever, or worked under Trump, saying we can't get this guy back.
Right.
When in reality, he's talking about Mark Milley,
right? And if
the top general who wanted to go to war all the time.
Exactly.
So, but if you're a Harrison Ford and you don't know like that he's a bad guy and that he's in war for the money and wants to send thousands and thousands of innocent Americans to die, you don't know that though. Like a lot of boomers don't know what we know. They don't have access to information like we do because they're still
stuck watching ABC,
traditional media,
MSNBC,
so
CNN.
I don't blame Harrison Ford for. I mean, in his mind, he's in a lot of these celebrities' minds.
Right.
They're making these endorsements, and in their mind, they're doing the right thing. That's all.
And at the end of the day, too, like I respect somebody like Harrison. The slate just popped up with a different. We're going to transition here in a second, but ultimately, going back to the respect of Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford.
You guys are in for a treat in 2 minutes.
After going back, you guys will really realize why we're laughing. But. What I'm trying to say is Harrison Ford, I don't lose respect for him because at least he brought up something about a general speaking out against Donald Trump or something along those lines.
And he wasn't pandering either.
Right, and he wasn't pandering to different audiences. Granted, he's a straight white man, and his audience is already captured by 90% of America. But when we're looking at somebody like LeBron, who endorsed Kamala Harris, and the only thing he had to say was talking about his wife and his... Does he have daughters?
He has one daughter.
He has one daughter. His wife and his daughter. So, like...
Your wife and your daughter
we're
at
sitting
risk
here at wartime, dog. Like, I'm not worried about... I'm sorry. I'm not fucking worried about abortion. I'm sorry. I'm not. It doesn't affect my body. I'll say that. Like,
our state voted to protect it. So
our state voted to protect it. I don't care. It's an option to whoever. I mean, I think there should be a cap. I agree with RFK with what he's been saying, and that kind of aligns me with the libertarian Republican side of things.
Safe, legal, and rare. That's it.
Safe, legal, and rare. That's it. That's what it should be doing. That's how it should be done.
Biden said that in the 90s.
Exactly. That's what I was about to just say. Joe Biden said it himself. So ultimately, again, we're sitting at crunch time here. I don't, and we'll wrap this all back in when we wrap up. But genuinely, like, for somebody who seems like she's just running on one topic and all it refers to is the women's body, there's other things.
Much important.
There's other things. And also, too, I'm sorry, but it's up to the states now. So the female president of the United States, I understand that you're going to re-invoke Roe v. Wade, but why don't you allow these people state to state to campaign for that?
We're supposed to live in a democracy, right?
State to state. So that's why I genuinely wish Donald Trump never touched Roe v. Wade.
But he didn't. That's the thing. Somebody leaked it. The Dobbs opinion was leaked, and it was a Supreme Court thing. He didn't do it. I don't know if he did anything, but it was leaked that they were...
I wish it wasn't under his administration that all this shit happened.
But it wasn't, though. That's the thing. It was under the Biden administration.
For Roe v. Wade, the overturning of it was all during Trump.
No, it happened in...
19?
No, I don't think so. Did it? I don't know.
See, it doesn't affect our bodies, so we don't even fucking know.
I know. We should be. This is kind of a political podcast now, but maybe after the election, it'll change. Who wants to get mad? Who wants to get mad? Are we gonna start a racial war here?
I hope not.
I hope not either. But so if you watch NFL on the CW, they have like an NFL inside the NFL. It's called, and they all dressed up as their characters for Halloween. And so Ryan Clark, who used to play for the Steelers, now he's an analyst on ESPN. White? No, Ryan Clark is very black. And
Ryan Clark's kind of a white name.
Well, he's very black. And why I'm saying this is Ryan Clark decided to dress up as Bill Belichick for Halloween. And this involved Ryan Clark doing whiteface, the same type of thing that was in White Chicks. And, well, I just think it is quite hypocritical because if a white person is to dress up as a black person and say, I don't know, wear blackface,
right?
Not even in a racist way, just to dress up as maybe Cam Newton or, I don't know, Lamar Jackson or somebody that they admire.
Right.
They are deemed racist. Right. But If it happens on the other side, we don't care.
So let's preface this with Luke and I are not soft. Luke and I are not offended by Ryan Clark dressing up as Bill Belichick.
Listen, we're going to play it. And
but
I think
hang
it's
on,
cool.
I want to tie it back into
Tied in.
White Chicks is a great movie. Okay, I love the movie White Chicks. The Wayans brothers are hilarious.
The media did not.
Well, I don't care because I, a white man, found it funny.
It was hilarious.
And I wasn't offended. And right now, Ryan Clark is not offending me either.
No, not me
However,
either.
it's just very funny that if the roles were reversed, we would be in an uproar right now. Ryan Clark would be fired. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Ryan
I know.
Clark would
I
be
know.
so
I know. If he was white and he dressed up as, say, I don't know,
Terry Crews.
Yeah, honestly. But anyway, like, look at this. This is generally funny, but then we'll talk about what would happen if it was a white person. So here we go. This is Ryan Clark dressing up as Bill Belichick for Halloween.
Oh, no matter how I'm dressed, here at Inside the NFL, you just do your job. And so I'm the only coach on the set today. So what is Bill Belichick going to be?
Aw. We'll continue talking about it, though. Like, it's just so funny because that looks funny. It's good.
It is funny. And we're not offended. We don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Good on you, Ryan Clark, because Bill Belichick it's somebody funny to dress up as.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's just...
I mean, he kind of does look like him, honestly. He did a good job.
He should have put the hood up.
Yeah,
It should have been a hood up.
He should have put the hood up. But, like, okay, that's all we needed to see, right? But going back to it now, say that was
right.
Somebody who was white dressing up as Terry Crews, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, the internet would be set ablaze.
Oh my God!
And here's the thing, though, I don't even think it's the black community.
It's the white community.
I think it is the white liberal community, specifically the white liberal female that loves to get offended over everything,
right.
Even things that don't have to do anything with them remotely.
Exactly.
Malcolm X said, wow, I'm quoting social justice figures. That's where the show has become. Malcolm X
we
said,
couldn't figure out when Roe v. Wade was over.
Yeah, Malcolm X said, I think he said the biggest threat to the black community is the white liberal.
100%. I think he did say. I know that.
Is that a quote?
Yes,
Is that a quote?
So.
That's right. That's right.
I believe so.
I'm diverse, bitch.
So
come on.
So when we look at this, like I'll say it, I don't think anybody has a better sense of humor than the black community.
Oh, I agree. They're
the
funniest.
They're the funniest people, and that is a genuine issue of the white liberal being offended for the black person, because there are some woke black people that are, all over the cultural appropriation,
I know.
all over all the liberal policy.
Ta-Nehisi Coates, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, okay,
I forget what I was about to
think
just
about
say.
it. But think about it, dude. Like, if you say you and I were going to be dressed as the Wayans brothers, right, for Halloween. Granted, I don't know, maybe that's not...
YouTube would take our channel down.
Yeah, like, for example, we're talking about the Wayans brothers. We're talking about White Chicks. It's a funny movie, but, like...
Speaking of, not to cut you off, but did you see they're going to make another scary movie?
I did.
Yeah.
But, like, going back to it, man, if we did blackface for Halloween, like Ryan Clark did whiteface, we would be banned from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They would take the video down.
They would kick our front doors in.
Exactly. So, like, I just think it's kind of hypocritical. Granted, I don't think Ryan Clark shouldn't be able to do this because it was funny. He dressed up as Bill Belichick. He did whiteface.
Right.
It was funny.
And the only people that are watching Inside the NFL on the CW
It's
are actual.
CW.
They're the actual NFL fans that are just going to tune in and see this. So I don't think anybody cares either way. And Bill Belichick is ultimately one of the funniest coaches to.
And he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't make any national news.
He probably dapped him up. Bill Belichick is a G.
Yeah, but it didn't make any news, and this is why, because he's one of the traditionally, how do I want to say, disenfranchised groups.
Right.
So it's okay, I guess. But I don't know, dude. I don't think he should get any backlash for it. I thought it was funny, but, like...
You know who's going to pick this story up 100%? Is going to be Matt Walsh. And I can't wait to see what he's going to say about it.
But it's just fascinating because it's very hypocritical, and we do have to get going. So, talking about white people...
A group of white men.
Do you want to start this?
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead.
So, basically, I say a group of white men, but there's... Oh, I hit my stand. I was like, what the hell's that? A group of white men. Well, I say a group, but there's probably only about 5 on the team. The San Francisco 49ers are getting a little bit of backlash. In particular, Mr. Nick Bosa.
A little bit is an understatement. They got a lot of backlash, folks. It was during Sunday Night Football last week. It was George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and I couldn't even tell you who the third string running back is.
Which is probably Is that Mason?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's Jordan. It might be Jordan Mason. Anyway,
Anyways.
so it's a post-game interview, and Brock Purdy's getting interviewed about the game, whatever.
Which, let's just talk about how crazy this is, because on Sunday night, I mean, at least I would think that there's probably nothing else on actual television that's watched more than Sunday Night Football.
It's number one.
At that point in time. Yeah, it's got to be.
And so somebody crashed the post-game interview. None other than all-pro defensive end Nick Bosa, arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. He crashed it wearing a MAGA hat. This is about 8 seconds. Let's play it for you.
Points in the first half. What was said during halftime? Hey, all right, Nick Bosa with a message there. Points.
Look at how awkward everybody got.
During halftime? Hey, all right.
You see George Kittle?
Yeah, George Kittle's like, fuck.
All right, it was a white MAGA hat with gold lettering.
Yeah.
And so
I wish you would have went dark MAGA.
I know. And so the media was set ablaze. That was a tweet from Clay Travis, and he said, "Pro athlete votes."
Right.
What's the quote here? Nick Bosa just crashed the 49er post-game interview to point out his Make America Great Again hat. I honestly think Trump is winning the majority of people athlete votes.
Absolutely. I mean, the entire Miami Dolphins lineup endorsed Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know. And who's the other... who's the Packers backup? A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon.
Yeah.
Packers backup running back A.J. Dillon, who's a really good player, was at the Trump rally with his wife.
Yeah.
Trump literally singled him out, saying, "Oh, he's a great player. He's going to get healthy. He's going to come back great."
Yeah, I can't...
Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell.
Yes.
You want to keep going, dude?
Right.
Like, it is just, obviously, the comments were very happy.
Yeah.
But... there's a whole conspiracy that Nick Bosa plays better against the black quarterbacks and whatever it is, what it is. But it was a great article that you sent me following up to that.
Yeah.
So we're going to...
So the fellas over at the Daily Wire found out, this is actually written by Katie Jerkovich, comedy podcast. Ben Shapiro, if you're watching this, sponsors. But yeah, so Nick Bosa, they're looking into fining Nick Bosa because he flashed the MAGA hat on television. Can you, like,
he's
that
yoked.
is so...
He is yoked.
Oh my God, he's yoked.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Come on. But yeah, I think that's pretty crazy, considering Trump is a former president.
Scroll down and see more on this article, because I think there was a point that I wanted to sources have told CBS. The NFL is looking into the situation of Bosa going on television to point his white ball cap with gold letterings reading "Make America Great Again." CBS reporter Jonathan Jones writes on X, there will not be a determination on any potential fine until later next week.
There hasn't been I'm pretty sure there hasn't been a fine.
There hasn't been, but wow. The fact that was even a statement. Based on the timeline from a source appears, any punishment for Bosa comes, it will be after Election Day.
That's crazy.
That's even crazier.
That's crazy.
That's even crazier. And like that's disgusting. What are you talking about?
According to the NFL rules book, it states that on game day, while a player is visible to the stadium or TV audience, players are prohibited from wearing, displaying, or otherwise conveying personal messages, either in writing or illustration, unless some message has been approved in advance by the league office. League will not grant permission for any club player to wear, display, or otherwise convey messages through helmet, decals, armbands, jersey patches, mouthpieces, or other items affixed to game uniforms or equipment.
And it's very funny. Nick Bosa, I mean, honestly, Nick Bosa kind of treated it like how any athlete should, or any person in the public eye should do it. During the postgame press conference, they literally said, like, "Would you like to discuss anything more on this?" And he said, "No. Like, no, let's talk about the game." Like, so ultimately, I just think it's very, 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 very funny that he probably knew he was going to get a fine for it. Like, I think people were set ablaze because they didn't think that it was going to happen. But I mean, he probably knew that there was going to be a fine attached to it.
I think so too. But it's just crazy as we're waiting for this article to load here. I don't know, dude. Trump has a lot of support, much more support than I ever thought that he would have from celebrities. I mean, we've been talking about this, right? We talked about this last week, and I'm pretty sure the week before a little bit.
Yeah.
But Trump is the first Republican in my lifetime, and he's not even really Republican, but he's the first Republican in my lifetime that's had so much support from celebrities. I mean, he is a celebrity.
Right.
But it is just so crazy that a Republican is getting this much support in a presidential election. You didn't see it with Romney. You didn't see it with McCain. You didn't see it with Bush. I don't know, man. It is quite fascinating. But anyway, speaking of Republicans, and I want to shift to a different side of the country here. We're talking about San Francisco. Now we're talking about New York.
What's going on in New York?
Well, New York, something really fascinating is going on in New York. So this is from the New York Post. Once again, we love the Post because it's free. And here we go. So it says right here, New York Republicans vote early in record numbers, but Dem turnout is in total free fall. Republicans are heading to the polls in New York and nationwide to vote in early record numbers, but party honchos say there's no time for slacking with the White House in control of the House of Representatives on the line. For the first time since President Reagan, New York is possibly in play for the presidential race and will certainly determine the House majority. What?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Upstate New York Representative Elise Stefanik said to the Post Saturday. Republicans across New York and the country are voting early in historic numbers, which is true.
Yeah.
But we must not get complacent and keep up the momentum and continue working to turn voters out, added House Republican Conference chairperson. Bro.
I don't know, because I've said it till I'm blue in the face. I do not. Wait, hang on. What is that?
Okay, right here. This is important. Are you talking about this right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so through Thursday, 1,900,064. No. Basically almost. Damn it!
1,964,393 voters were votes were cast in the Empire State, including 701,402 in New York City, according to the State Board of Elections.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
This puts the state on pace to exceed early voting totals during the last presidential election, when
2,507,345 New Yorkers voted early over 9 days.
I don't know why, I just can't get it out. But look at that, dude. That's crazy. New York State is on pace to surpass the early voting total in the 2020 election. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So.
But okay, what I was saying when holy fuck, I'm gonna have a stroke. I'm so excited.
Look at this, dude. As of Thursday, sorry not to cut you off.
You're good.
As of Thursday, there were 9.24% more Republicans voting than Dems in Suffolk County's first congressional district, where Republican incumbent Nick LaLota is positioned to beat Democrat John Avlon. Okay, in the state's 6 other swing districts, which include 2 other Long Island seats, Dems were outvoting Republicans by anywhere from 3.04% to 16.35%.
Wow.
The GOP needs every single voter who is concerned with the direction our country is headed under the failed leadership of the Democrats in Washington and Albany to get to the polls and help Republicans over the finish line in tight races like mine, who is this Representative Anthony D'Esposito, who's a Long Island Republican.
Yeah.
Bro, you want to read more stats? More than 73 million Americans have already voted as of Saturday, which is nuts. It's a high.
Yeah.
In the 26 states that provided party registration records, which didn't include New York, 38.2% of early votes were cast by Democrats and 36 by Republicans, 25.8 by independents and members of other political parties. Bro, the early voter turnout has led to Republicans breaking early voting records in swing states such as Georgia and North Carolina. So to bring it back, right, will Trump win New York? I would have told you before this that he had a 5% chance.
So
I'm moving it up to 25.
So can I say this?
Go ahead.
I don't know if there is set in stone election tampering, how they would election tamper, what
I don't
it is
think
with
there is.
with their whether I don't know. I've seen videos, and that's the issue with Twitter is as much as I am for free speech, there is a lot of bullshit.
A lot of
Twitter.
misinformation.
There is a lot of misinformation. That's why you got to follow actual reporters, actual people. Don't take some random person with a check mark next to their name.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
You can't.
So what I'm trying to say is if there is election tampering, if there is cheating or anything like that, I think that the left would ensure that Kamala doesn't lose any state like that. So even if Donald Trump genuinely does win New York, we're not going to be surprised if he loses it. Therefore, they would just chalk up the random numbers.
I don't know, dude. 90,000 people in New York for the Madison Square Garden rally. 70,000 people that were outside.
Yeah,
I don't
I know.
discount it. I mean, I think Kamala's going to win New York, but I would not be surprised. Like I said, I thought it was 5% before.
Right.
I give him 25% chance to win New York. It is so crazy. You read all the stats, right? People on Twitter talking, people in the news talking, that New York is a conservative state besides the city of New York City, which is the biggest city in the world, the greatest city in the world, but obviously very heavily Democrat in terms of population
for sure
when it comes to voters.
For sure.
So it's just crazy. But speaking of the voters, Kamala got a very special endorsement over the past couple days from the most classy person that they could have got in media, and that is Cardi B. How do you feel about Cardi B?
I think.
I think
Cardi B is probably one of the most misinformed, dumbest people in current pop culture.
Do you think so?
But
she is a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man.
She also
do you want to play this?
She doesn't need a man, but she also needs a teleprompter, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy shit!
Holy
this is bad.
fuck! This was funny. Right before this happened, right before the video we're about to show you, she said, "Hang on, guys, because her teleprompter broke and she didn't know what to say."
And you could tell that she certainly grew up in a district that had a broken education system. This is really bad. So here's Kamala getting the Cardi B endorsement. Yeah, folks, it'll raise a couple eyebrows. Here we go. Hold on one second.
Her
here.
mouth.
There we go.
She's passionate. She's compassionate. She shows empathy, and most of all, she is not delusional. Yeah. Kamala recognized that this country is at risk, that the economy needs to get stronger, that the cost of food and the cost of living is too high. Damn, it's even high for me.
She's been there for 3 fucking years.
Almost four. She was the second in command. She was the last person in the room.
She realized? What do you mean she realized?
She's literally there. But you know what? Maybe she's going to give a message that's going to really help us to understand why she's voting for Kamala.
Right.
Who knows? We're only 27 seconds in.
I believe her when she says, under her, buying eggs and milk won't break the bank.
We are under her. And yes, it does break the bank. But like the amount of, I don't even know what the
She's a moron because here's the thing. We're pandering. We're constantly fucking pandering. Let me tell you how this is going to work, folks. There's not going to be eggs under $4 under Donald Trump. There's not going to be bread under $3 with Donald Trump. But wages, that's what's going to happen. Kamala Harris isn't going to lower pricing. Wages need to go up. And for Cardi B's dumb, retarded ass to sit up there and pander to me and tell me that pricing of eggs is too high for her.
Oh, wow. Look at that, Shad. Cardi B rumored around $80 million net worth, but she can't afford milk and eggs?
No, she can't.
That sounds a little bit crazy. Let's let her finish, though.
Because she's going to pass a ban on price gouging on groceries. And she told me that in my face.
Oh, okay.
So she better not lie to me in my face.
Okay. So hold on. So, guys, who exactly is Cardi B? Like, yes, we know
is that
Cardi.
Offset's wife?
We know. Well,
is she married to Offset?
I don't think she is anymore. But we know. I think she got cheated on. But
which is the one that died?
We know who Cardi.
Sorry.
Take off.
Okay.
But we know who Cardi B is, right? But do you really know who Cardi B is?
Well, she was an ex-stripper, wasn't she?
Yes, and she would actually drug the men and take their money, take their wallets, whatever.
Oh, didn't they make a movie about kind of the piece of shit Cardi B is?
She was actually in it, too.
Oh.
But more so.
Wasn't Jennifer Lopez in that movie,
She
too?
was, and we'll get to her, too, later. But let's really get to know who exactly Cardi B is. So this is somebody that Kamala Harris had at her rally and had her endorse her, and is not
fat pooper on this one, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
fat pooper on Cardi B.
But this is Cardi B talking about daily life. Here we go. Damn it! Hold on, folks. Hold on.
Oh, it was muted.
Yeah, I muted it. So this is Cardi B talking about her daily life. It's fascinating. Here we go.
Video so y'all can keep y'all pussy on WAP. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you bitches got that dry ass pussy because y'all pH balance is off. And you wanna know why? It's not because you born with it. It's because y'all keep fucking these dirty ass niggas. And y'all bitches is shy to tell these niggas that they dick is hot. You gotta tell babe, yo, your dick smell like mustard, my nigga. You wanna throw my pH balance off. Y'all bitches be fucking these little dirty ass niggas. Y'all be sucking their dick and shit. And y'all be gagging on it. Y'all think y'all gagging on it because the dick is big. But no, bitch, it's because it stinks. Another thing is, right, why your pH balance is throwing off, because y'all bitches need to fucking brush your teeth before you suck dick. Y'all eating barbecue ribs the whole day, bacon, egg, and cheese. Then you suck your nigga dick, and right after, he directly put it inside your pussy. Now you got bacon, egg, and cheese grease inside your pussy. You know what I'm saying? I'm only giving y'all this advice because I love you. If you don't want to take advice, alright then, bitch. Roll the dice and keep walking around with that dehydrated pussy. Like I said, I love y'all, and this is for y'all to keep the walk. You want to know why?
What? I'm sorry, Kamala Harris had her speak at her rally.
I forgot we were even talking about Kamala Harris. I mean, okay, so here's
Whoa.
the deal. Let's just stop.
Bacon, egg, and cheese dick?
Let's just stop and
What?
let's just appreciate that Cardi B takes care of her wallet, her meat taco.
Wow.
Whatever. Like she keeps good care of her puss.
But this is what the Democratic Party is catering to, folks.
Yes.
If you were on the fence about voting for Trump or Kamala, I mean, I'm sure Trump hasn't had the brightest people on.
Well, this is why though, Luke. Because
tell me.
let me break it down. So
break it down.
So under Kamala Harris, the price of eggs will go down, making those bacon, egg, and cheeses less expensive. So you can eat more of them. So she was just saying, hey, once Kamala Harris becomes president, the economy is going to be so good and you're going to be eating so well.
Don't forget
to brush your teeth before you suck dick.
Don't forget about unlimited abortions.
This is true. This is great. So once you are sucking Mr. Bacon, Egg, and Cheese and what did she say? Beef rib?
I think so. And then putting it in the pussy.
And then putting it in, if you get impregnated by a mustard-dicked man,
I think she used another term instead of man, but we can't say it.
She did, but I mean, yes.
We don't want to say it, by the way.
You can then get rid of that
Completely.
so that you don't have baby mustard dick.
There you go.
Perfect. I nailed it.
That's
I'm
a good
voting,
one.
Guys, I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
I think I am too after that celebrity endorsement. They must think we're fucking stupid.
Who was that pandering to?
Who is that pandering to?
Who was that for?
I don't understand. I don't get it. Cardi, I don't know why you had to bring Cardi B up. Why do you have to bring all these celebrities out? J-Lo too. We'll talk about her in a second. But why do you need to bring all these celebrities out? I don't understand what the point is. What are you trying to get at? Why can't you have regular working class people?
Also, again, I'm sorry. Like, I know that they had MAGApalooza, but ultimately, why do I keep saying ultimately?
I don't know.
The only celebrities that really spoke there that I know of, Tony Hinchcliffe, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But everybody else, for the most part, that I can think of off the top of my head was a politician or somebody powerful. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So we just continue to waste our time trying to get these clicks and draw people to Kamala Harris by using celebrities, by using people like Beyonce and promising her. That fucking backfired. Holy hell.
Yeah, holy hell.
Like to promise a Beyonce concert only for her to come out and just endorse Kamala Harris, and then all you get to do is listen to Kamala Harris talk. Quite frankly, that would lose my vote in a minute.
I mean, like, Cardi B, she is actually kind of intelligent too. I remember about a year ago there was an interview where she was talking about President, I believe it was Roosevelt, maybe not, but she was talking about one of the presidents, and it seems like she has a good history of
I think you're right.
American
I just went off on her. Went off on her because, you know.
But listen, no, it was stupid what she did, but I think she has a good concept of American history. I think she is intelligent, but in that specific scenario. And two, like she said, but when Biden and Trump were on, she said she didn't want to endorse anybody, because of how bad the economy was and shit like that.
Right.
But once again, I don't think Cardi B is the smartest. Granted, I don't think she is the biggest role model ever.
And she's not going to pander to any. Like, she's not going to draw any sort of vote. That's not moving the needle any.
Well, they definitely called her. They called her name. Whether or not she believes what she said, she's certainly not the biggest person to look up to per se.
She's added to the list of celebrities that we can say endorsed Kamala Harris.
But
and
then again, right? Let's step outside of that. I don't really particularly care about what Cardi B has to say about why we should vote for Kamala Harris, because she is worth $80 million.
Dude, that goes across the board. That goes across the board with that list of celebrities that I was just talking about.
I know.
That across the board, I don't care what celebrities have to say. Is it entertaining to watch Hulk Hogan go up there and rip his shirt off and say, "Brother, vote for Donald J. Trump"? Yeah, that's exciting, but
that's not going to move the needle.
That's not going to move the needle. That's not going to do anything. And so back to my point of
Sorry.
of having Cardi B, having these celebrities. When Cardi B was on, we were 4 or 5 days away from the election. We continue to be days away from the election, and we're wasting time that Kamala Harris could be up there and actually talking to you, or Tim Walz can actually be up there talking to you. We're wasting that time. They're done with their pitch. They're saying, hey, listen, we have all the voters that we can possibly get right now, just based on who likes gay men and like Tim Walz, or who wants to kill babies at 9 months. Like that's we have our voters. Those are our strong voters, and we're not going to move the needle, and we're also not going to lose them because those strong voters are the exact voters that hate Donald Trump.
Yeah. Speaking of moving the needle, you didn't know about this earlier, but the Young Turks, specifically Anna Kasparian. So this is very important. Anna Kasparian is the co-host of the Young Turks, which is a progressive, Democrat-based, liberal-based internet show. It's a news show. Every day, I forget what time. Anyway, but she is somebody that's very progressive. She's very popular. She has been red-pilled over the past couple of weeks like you would not believe. So we're going to watch a clip of Anna Kasparian getting red-pilled in real time. And like I said, this is a woman who's very progressive, very pro-Democrat policies across the board. But as you can see here, she's kind of starting to have a come-to-Jesus moment, for lack of a better term. So here we go. This is about the Democrats labeling Trump a fascist.
Notion of a fascist. Because look, if we're just going to use fascist toward anyone we dislike, all right, then the word doesn't actually mean anything.
Okay, what do you want me to say, Anna? You want me to say wannabe dictator?
Sure, you can say wannabe dictator, but I don't even think he wants to be a dictator.
Of course he does. That's what you do.
All right, so right there, this is Cenk Uygur, the founder of the Young Turks. Very, very progressive, but also, too, he's going to be voting for Kamala. But he also likes to call out the fact that the Democrats are kind of catering right now to the corporate side of the wing, and likes to he tells the truth too, but he still very much has Trump derangement syndrome. But at times he will tell the truth about Trump.
When you lose an election and you go, oh, I got fake electors, and I'd like to terminate the Constitution and bring out the tanks and use martial law against American citizens and shoot protesters. I mean, if that's not fascist, then I guess the word just shouldn't exist.
But was he able to do those things?
Trump's
his rhetoric is awful.
Okay, if you don't want to be called fascist, stop saying fascist things. It's not that hard.
Okay.
Not that hard. Oh, here, let me have dinner with Nick Fuentes, who's a Nazi, Kanye, who's a Nazi, and let me say there's good people on the Nazi side. Oh, it could be pro-Confederate guys. Might be guys who are pro-slavery who are good guys. Let me do all of these things. Let me say that immigrants are poisoning the blood of our nation, a Nazi term that is only used in the past by Nazis, and then say I'm going to ban Muslims, I'm going to do this and this and this to all the other ethnic groups, and then go, oh, I can't believe you called me a fascist. No, he is a fascist. I'm very happy to call him a fascist.
All right.
So that happened.
So Anna Kasparian was right there.
And she was kind of talked over ultimately. Yeah. Again, I keep using the fucking word ultimately. It's just I'm so excited right now. We talk about wanting... the left is catering to the women. Women have a voice. Women this, women that.
But this is a popular woman that's progressive too.
Well, no, but look, we have that entire clip.
I know.
Where a man spoke over the woman.
Which is kind of sexist.
Who was kind of getting red-pilled. We watched it happen, but we watched him take over and not be able to let her talk. And that, we're watching that in real time.
And Anna Kasparian too. This isn't the only topic. She lives they're based in Los Angeles, and she was talking about getting assaulted by a homeless person because of the crisis and because of the Democratic policies in California. Okay, but this is something on Twitter too. So this is a tweet. So somebody watched that video and said, "This is what consuming right-wing media does to a person on the so-called left." Anna Kasparian quote tweet. She goes, I don't support Trump. I also don't think it's helpful to call him a fascist or a Nazi. Those words actually mean something beyond not liking a candidate. Thank you. I also don't think listening to or reading the perspective of conservative voters is a flaw or something that I should feel ashamed of. Okay, being red-pilled in real time. You go back to her a year ago, 2 years ago, you might have heard something different. But bro, I'm telling you, and these people, by the way, they're independent media. They're not mainstream media. I follow Jenk on Twitter.
Right.
I think it's an interesting perspective to have. I truthfully do. But like, this is somebody on the left who is getting red pilled in real time once again.
Yeah.
Who is seeing all these crappy policies come home to roost, for lack of a better term, and seeing how they're not beneficial. And calling Trump a Nazi is very hypocritical. And now we can talk about it too.
Right.
Bro, at the Madison Square Garden rally, they said it's a Nazi rally. When you had black people, white people, Latino people, Jewish people, Jewish flags. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be a Nazi rally if there were Jewish flags. But whatever, right?
The problem
Muslim
is,
people too. It's just it's gaslighting to a big extent.
The problem is that I watched it in real time and bleed over to somebody that I was having a conversation with, that was talking about how Donald Trump had a rally at Madison Square Garden, and you saw it because it was on actual mainstream media, calling for the fact that I think it was 85 years prior, there was a Nazi rally there. Okay, so let's just go over the facts here.
By the way,
Kamala Harris has had how many celebrity endorsements?
I would say probably around 100.
Hundreds.
Maybe over.
I'd say multiple.
Yeah,
I
multiple
think
hundreds.
There's people that we don't even like really follow.
Yeah.
But we have that happening. And then we look at how many performers that is. Taylor Swift.
Jennifer Lopez. Usher.
Like performers. You're telling me not a single one of them played at the biggest venue in New York City?
This is true.
Madison Square Garden. You're telling me that those performers never performed there. So why did we not link them in every performance done since then? Why have we not burned down Madison Square Garden? And I don't mean that that sounds very bad, but if there was a Nazi rally held there, we want to eliminate all of that. Why is that still a venue that you're able to play?
By the way,
why
also
is it
too,
a coveted venue that you are able to play?
Well, hold on. So when there was that Nazi rally in, I think, 1938, it wasn't even the same building. How about that?
Really?
No.
So it just goes back to my point of like I had to correct the person that I was speaking with about what was going on and say, no. They pulled that out of their ass to compare right-wing Republicans at this rally to Nazis.
I know.
A place where Vivek Ramaswamy spoke. A place
An
where
Indian person.
Yes. Like, what? What are we talking about?
Here's
and
the
I'm
thing.
so sick of it, and we'll get into it because Luke and I are going to do a. I think we can. Do you think we could?
We could skip this
one. No. We can keep this one. I think we skip J-Lo.
Okay.
And then we can do our serious glasses off.
We could
talk.
skip this too.
Yeah, we could do our serious glasses off talk.
All right. So yeah, but going back to that, dude, I just think that this is the media gaslighting people on the left, and you see it on the right too. But they want us to fight so bad.
Right. That's what they want, a civil war between both sides.
Because, listen, we love to shit on celebrities on the left and even celebrities on the right, but something that we'll never do is shit on the people.
No.
You can't do it.
I mean, we've...
well, I'm saying, yes, you can shit on the crazy people, but...
But we can!
But the everyday average voter who votes Democrat... I have no beef with you.
No.
I have no beef with you.
No.
The white liberal women, yes, I have beef with.
And that's the people that I'm saying that we can call out crazy. People can call out crazy. And you have the freedom to speak on what you want to talk about.
But the crazy white liberal women, I have a lot of discontempt for you.
Exactly.
Or contempt. I don't know how you use the word. Contempt. I have a lot of contempt for you in my heart, truthfully.
It's disgusting that we can watch these leaders morph, or even in the news channels morph what we people watching a mainstream news channel consume.
But they love to make us fight against each other.
They do.
Dude. It's disgusting.
They do. Speaking of the greatest news channel to ever exist, ABC.
And speaking of disgust, what was this? Was this NASCAR? What was this?
This was F1.
Okay,
this
yeah.
was an F1 race.
F1 race, Formula 1 race, and they accidentally aired something that was kind of crucial in Pennsylvania. So here we go, right? This is the F1 race, and look at the bottom, folks. What's this? Let's pause it. This looks like it is Pennsylvania in an election. Actually, the one that's coming up against Kamala Harris for Donald Trump. Trump against Kamala Harris. And look at that. Oh, it says that Pennsylvania has been called and that 100% of it has been reported. 52% for Kamala Harris, 47% for Donald Trump. Kamala almost has 3.3 million. Trump has a little bit under 3 million. Look at these numbers, right? This is on ABC. Well, there was a lot of backlash to this. I mean, look at this. This is not doctored. This is real. Somebody's recording this. And then you see right here, right? Jill Stein, independent, and I don't know who this guy is, but look, okay, this is the independent vote right here. That's a little bit weird. That's a little bit weird. So here's the thought. The thought is that, are they fixing it? Look, okay, here's another. I think this is the Senate race in Pennsylvania, right? Casey and McCormick. Okay, the Republican has lost it 100%, right? So people are very up in arms about this. People are really scared that the election in Pennsylvania may have already been decided, which is crazy, which is very crazy. I don't know how this happens, right? We're reading from Breaking 911 here. ABC.
I genuinely don't know how this happens.
I don't know either. But anyway, so the Pennsylvania news station WNEP TV mistakenly showed fake election results showing Harris won the swing state. The outlet said the numbers seen on the screen were randomly generated test results sent out to help news organizations make sure their equipment is working. Are we sure?
I mean,
are we
sure? That's the thing. It's understandable to a point of like, okay, I don't run a news station. I don't know how that goes onto my screen, but it goes on my screen the same way I see school closings in my area.
Okay, but look at the full statement right here, right? This is important. The test results for the upcoming November 5th general election mistakenly appeared on WNEP TV early Sunday evening during a broadcast of the Formula One Mexico Grand Prix. Those numbers should not have appeared on the screen, and it was an error by the WNEP that they did. The numbers seen on the screen were randomly generated test results sent out to help news organizations make sure their equipment is working properly in advance of election night. The numbers were not reflective on any actual vote count. Pennsylvania law does not allow mail-in ballots to be taken out of their envelopes by 7 a.m. on election day.
You're on fire.
And no votes of any kind will be counted in Pennsylvania until the polls close at 8 p.m. WNAP regrets the error and apologizes for any confusion. We have taken steps to ensure that this does not happen again. Okay. Sorry.
You're good.
I was on a roll. It's the coffee. But like, okay, so that kind of makes sense. That's kind of reasonable, but you can't blame people for feeling like shit's not exactly regular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna take the glasses off here. We're gonna close the computer. Computer's gonna be closed. There we go.
We got to do the prediction as well.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Glasses will go back on.
You're gonna see our eyes for the first time in a while.
First time in a while.
Hi.
Hello,
folks. Listen, the election is very serious, and if you're thinking of not voting, please take a second and try to reconsider. We think that you should vote Donald Trump, but even if you're going to vote Kamala Harris, it's very important that you vote. Anyway, here's why you should vote Trump.
We've seen a Donald Trump pregnancy.
I mean, listen, we're in 2024
now. Fuck.
Men can get pregnant,
Yeah.
so maybe we will see a Donald Trump pregnancy. But we've seen a Donald Trump presidency.
We've seen a Donald Trump presidency before, ladies and gentlemen. We know what to expect. We know the rhetoric that he has. Quite frankly, I think the media has been in an astounding uproar over Donald Trump's rhetoric that we heard back in 2016. I think Donald Trump's been pretty tame.
I think so, too.
Through this. So to sit there and say that you're offended by what your leader says is pretty asinine. I genuinely think that when you look at a presidential candidate, you look at policies. And yes, Kamala Harris might have a better policy on how to fix inflation and fix the government. This is something that I've been chalked up for since I've been deciding who to vote for. So yeah, they might be the better candidate to fix the economy. But at the end of the day, we are fighting for something more than just the economy, more than just abortion.
The world is on the ballot.
Safety of the world. And so if you're not going to vote for Donald Trump because you don't like what he says, that's one thing. If you don't like Donald Trump as a human being, there's no changing you. But when you look at the type of man Donald Trump is, I know it's scary because I know he's said some questionable things for sure, but ultimately right now what it comes down to is do you picture that person in the White House? Do you picture that person running a country? Do you picture that person going up against Xi Jinping against Putin.
Kim Jong-un.
Like, do you think that Kamala Harris is really going to sit there? Someone who's ran purely based off of joy.
Yeah, the whole thing.
And vibes.
And abortion.
And that's it.
I would also like to invite you guys who are maybe considering voting for Kamala or not considering voting at all to understand how the people that are going to vote for Trump feel about Trump. We don't like the shit he says either.
No.
But
and that doesn't make us racist.
No. But
it doesn't make us Nazis.
But we love what the country was when he was in his office. And it's not about, oh, they loved racism or whatever. Don't listen to traditional media. You have to find your media online or somewhere else. There are very credible left-wing and right-wing outlets that you can find your news on. But I loved when things were cheap. That was good. I was in high school, but I remember what the gas prices were.
It was fun.
And they were good. I loved not being in any new wars as a country.
This is true.
We had the best economy in the history of the country. Record low unemployment. People had jobs. Inflation wasn't crippling families. The housing market, if you want to blame it on a president, you can, whatever, but the housing market was very cheap. I remember I would look at the prices. What I'm trying to say here is because of all the civil unrest, it may have tainted how you feel. But it's important not to listen to traditional media who is going to try and pin us against each other. You have to vote for somebody that you may not like. You have to vote based off of policy. And the number one policy is World War III. And we think that, as unfortunate as that is, we think that Kamala Harris, since Joe Biden has not talked to Putin in 2 years, and Putin in the war of Russia-Ukraine has arguably already started World War III, but that war can get really bad for us very quick.
It's starting. It's
Right.
starting. It's starting. And it's something that wasn't even covered by mainstream media that most people probably don't even know is that Russia was practicing their nukes,
Of
bro.
course. Yeah. And a nuclear war, for the white liberal women out there, a nuclear war doesn't mean, it's not just like a bomb. A nuclear war can result in something called a nuclear winter, which the ash from the nukes, I've read about this, the ash from the nukes would not allow the sun to be seen for 20 years. What happens with that? If you've remembered hearing
Greta
about
Thunberg's going nuts right now.
If you remember about the Ice Age, the Ice Age was because there was no access to sunlight. The sun was being blocked, and as a result, things got to freezing temperatures. What happens there? Nothing can grow, which means the grid, first of all, is going to be gone. You won't be able to have any access to food because nothing will be able to grow.
If you've even survived at this rate, if you've even survived the nuke.
All right, so yeah, there's
in
that.
general.
But also, too, there's nuclear radiation. Folks, they have nukes now that can blow up the entire world. That's not an uneducated perspective. Like, Russia has nukes that can probably reach here or to wherever you are in the world, in the United States. Things can get so bad that we can't survive this. It's not just like the atomic bomb where it was like limited to an area. This is like the whole world.
Yeah.
And so it's very imperative that you reconsider who you're voting for if you're thinking about voting for Kamala, because Kamala Harris, despite us being on the brink of World War III, has not talked about this once.
No, and that's honestly what bothers me. If you are a Democrat that is only worried about an abortion, okay, that's fine. Your vote is settled for the most part. I think we're just trying to. I don't even know why we're doing this.
But do you want to be able to have more abortions? If the world has been blown up because of World War III, you won't be able to have any abortions.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, if you think about it, is giving you the opportunity to have more abortions because we won't be in World War III.
Yeah. Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Trump is actually the most pro-choice candidate.
This is true. And if we really dive in on how you would get or why you would need an abortion, if there is a nuclear bomb dropped on us,
Kamala, can't get the abortion.
We can't have sex. We're not going to want to have sex.
No.
Because everything's on fire.
Your dick will fall off.
Your balls are going to just fall off. Kind of like what happened to Tim Walz probably 20 years ago, and that's why he is the way he is. But
no testicles.
All I'm saying is really look full picture. I do not see Kamala Harris as a strong independent thinking leader.
And world leaders across the country, or across the globe rather, won't feel that either.
No.
So
vote Donald Trump.
If you feel confident that Kamala Harris is going to keep us out of World War III, mind you, we're going to be the ones that are going to go to war. The strong young men are going to be going to war, not the strong independent female.
I don't think Harry Sisson will probably have to go.
No, he'll tuck his dick and he'll anyway. But what we're trying to say is we're making the case that even if you're thinking about voting for Kamala Harris, please take a second look. Because we really don't want to be overseas fighting for a war that we don't believe in. And I know the majority of young men feel the same. And even then, we don't want the entire world to blow up because of a hot nuclear war that essentially started for for no reason.
Right. I mean, I don't know. This is America. You're allowed to vote who you want to vote for.
We're not being paid.
Everybody is... I think everybody is pretty much decided. I really don't know that there's a vote that exists right now that you don't, or there's a person right now that you don't know who you're voting for. I think ultimately, like, we're talking to the people that hate both candidates.
Yeah,
and don't want to vote.
But here's my prediction for the whole thing.
Or is going to waste their vote on an independent.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
My prediction, and I've been following the polls for like 2 years almost. I think Trump's going to win.
I do too.
And I think he's also going to win the popular vote. You want to talk about the swing states? I'm telling you, he will win North Carolina. He will win Georgia. He'll win Arizona. He'll win Nevada. New Mexico is on the border. I don't think he wins New Mexico.
No.
People are talking about Virginia and New Hampshire would be up for grabs. I don't think he wins either of those.
No.
It'll be crazy if he does, but I don't think. No. You want to talk about Pennsylvania. You want to talk about Michigan. You want to talk about Wisconsin. I think he wins Pennsylvania. I think he wins Wisconsin. I do not think he will win Michigan. That will put him at around 300 electoral votes. My prediction is he will also win the electoral... Damn it, not the electoral college. My prediction is he will also win the popular vote. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Because of the gains that he's made in California and New York, both of those probably won't matter. But I'm telling you, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
So we will have a Trump presidency. I hope that political violence is not going to happen to either candidates. We don't need any more of that. If Trump wins, there will probably be riots. If Trump loses, then there will probably also be riots. But what we want is we just want things to be civil.
Yeah.
Please, let's get back to an America that we can both love and appreciate because we live in the greatest country in the world. And
Agreed.
Come on.
I agree.
Let's get back to that.
Let's go. Vote for Donald Trump.
Vote for Donald Trump. That's all. So please, if you haven't been thinking about this, if maybe you've been considering not voting, please vote. And you know what? If you think voting for Kamala Harris is going to be the best thing for the country, God bless you. Go do that. With that being said, we are back. We are talking about the Cleveland Browns. What time is it, Ryan Scheibmann? Let's see here.
It's
10:48.
10:48. Perfect timing. Perfect time to wrap up. Luke, this has been a great podcast today. At home. The Cleveland Browns
against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes, sir.
2-6 Cleveland Browns against
coming off a win against the fucking Baltimore Ravens.
By the way, I predicted
baby.
that. I predicted that. Just saying. I didn't want to make a short about it. I didn't want to double down, but I predicted that. So here we go. I think this is going to be kind of a defensive game. I think that it's going to be something like, 21-17 Browns.
I'm going 24-21 Browns.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a simple game. I mean, I might backtrack on that just because I think it might be more of a field goal game. I think the Browns are going to ultimately get 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
That sounds reasonable for us.
Jameis Winston might throw a pick because the Chargers defense is good.
And I do need a David Njoku anytime touchdown.
Oh. I'm going to make a parlay that's going to include the Browns money line for sure.
For sure.
I think right now the Browns are Chargers are favored by 1.5 last time I saw it.
Are they?
Yeah, last time I saw it.
I took Browns money line. It was -105.
Okay, so maybe it went kind of teetered a little bit.
They were -105. Chargers were -112. So
interesting. That's weird. But anyway, yeah, I think it's going to be a Cleveland Browns win. I think Jameis Winston will continue to impress people.
Yeah.
He got LASIK eye surgery. You saw the tweet. He got LASIK eye surgery, so now he's better.
Dude, can we just talk about how fucking funny Jameis Winston is? I think he's the funniest dude in the NFL.
He's a meme, and I'm telling you right now, if they start to go on a run, which I think they can, it's crazy. You saw the Miz on the Rich Eisen show was talking about they're going to win out and go 11.
He said we were going to lose this game. The Miz did say we were going to lose against the Chargers. He said we were going to beat Baltimore, then we were going to have a loss, and then we were going to go win out.
The Miz is wrong. They're going to win. They're going to be 3-6 going into the bye, and of course they're going to win the bye week because they don't play anybody. So
yes, sir.
It's going to be great. Go Browns. Go Donald Trump, and hopefully, no matter what happens, we may have a surprise podcast on the night of election night over Zoom. I will be in Florida.
It just depends because are you going to be back in time to record the episode?
On Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll know by then for sure, but I don't know that we'll know. We could do maybe an emergency check-in because I don't think we'll know.
15 minutes.
Well, I don't know. We won't know who wins on Tuesday night.
Or maybe if it's too big to rig, we will.
Ooh. That's what you got to know. Get out and vote, folks.
No matter what happens, folks, please be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't riot and loot if somebody that we want to win ends up winning.
Right.
Taking from a business is not going to solve the problems. No matter
you know
what.
What does? Fentanyl. If you are upset that Donald Trump has become president, if you are so upset that you're going to go riot and loot.
But you can't get fentanyl now because it's too damn expensive in this administration. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it? Well, no, I did see that because Tim Dillon was talking about it.
Go on with your point real quick and then we'll cap it.
I don't even know. Fentanyl. Fentanyl helps with your anxiety and your depression and your TDS.
Yeah, there we go. So please go out and vote once again. Hopefully you vote for our candidate. Hopefully we made the case. We're not being paid. We're just... I don't know.
There's much better people out there to make our case, but don't let Robert Downey Jr. and
Cardi B
and Scarlett Johansson make the bid for Kamala Harris.
If you let Chris Evans do it, I understand.
I was about to say you can let Chris Evans do it. Yeah,
you can let him do anything you want.
But honestly, what's his name? Hemsworth.
Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's better. He's better. He's hotter than Chris Evans is.
Thor's not telling you to vote. That's all I'm saying. So once again, please be civil. No matter what happens, if this is the last election ever, we hope that's not the case. But please be safe in doing so when you vote. Peace.